Welcome to Living Your Path. I am Cecile Ferry, a coach and astrologer. I'm here to guide you on how to live and work in alignment with your true self so you can find fulfillment and serenity. Hello, my beautiful people, and welcome to a very special episode. Today, we are going to go through the astrology of 2026. I am very excited. I hope that you are. There is lots happening this year. It's very different. More on that in a minute. So you may want to maybe take some notes or you can get back to that. But I'm going to try to keep it light and easy and digestible because obviously there is a lot. And for me, it's super simple because I live and breathe this every week. Okay. But for you, I can understand it's too much. So I won't cover everything for sure. And I'm going to really keep it top line, but so that you can get the flavor, the narrative for this year, and you can really start getting excited for what's coming. And I highly recommend that you really continue listening every week as we go through the year. If you miss a week or two or three, no problem, right? But I will talk you through those events more in detail on a weekly basis. So you will not miss out, okay? So before we start, I wanted to talk to you about how you can really plan this year for yourself from an astrological point of view and personalize what is happening in the sky and what that is going to mean for you. And I cannot emphasize enough how important that is and how valuable that is. Like what I'm going to tell you is useful, but it's collective. It's kind of the energy that we will all feel because that's what's happening in the sky. How this interacts with your own energy, your own birth chart, I can't answer that on this call. So I'll make some reference here or there about your placement, but that's why I highly recommend that you do that for yourself and you get personalized guidance because that is next level. I have already done some late last year in November, December with some clients, and it's very accurate. It's very precise, and it's really giving you a roadmap for your year. It's going to talk about when you might feel some specific phases of either growth and opportunities and amazing things, but also phases that may be challenging and why and what to expect. And I tell you what, it's so much better to kind of be prepared or to be like on the lookout for things as they happen so they don't destabilize you, so you don't like just start spinning around, So, and it's not to say it's negative, right? We're all gonna have a year full of good things and challenges. That's how it works, life, right? And same with astrology. But when you have the manual, where you know what to expect, and especially the moments of the year where things are likely to happen more for you, it's next level from what I'm sharing today. So you'll be asking, how can we work together? How can you get that information for yourself? So I have 3 options to offer you. Very simple. Number 1, for those that have had a birth chart reading with me, we do a transit reading. So what we'll do is I will overlay the transit I'm talking about today onto your birth chart, and we look at all the key transits and see how they will impact different areas of your life at different time of the year. So you have all the key themes, opportunities, and the timing for any changes so you can plan your year and you can flow with it with confidence. So that lasts 45 minutes on Zoom, and then I send you a written summary for it. So that's if you've had a birth chart reading with me. If you haven't had one yet, I have a special offer, which is a bundle offer where you get your birth chart reading and then your 2026 transit reading. So that means we get to meet twice. We meet on Zoom. The birth chart takes an hour and 15 minutes. And then the forecast for 2026 takes 45 minutes. And I have looked after you with a special price for this bundle. So that's second option. And option 3, if you're thinking, I don't know about having my birth chart read, I really don't understand everything, but I'd like some information for myself, I am offering a written summary that I will email to you That will talk through the astrological transit I talk about now, personalized to the areas of your life that they relate to. You send me your date of birth details, and from there, I will be able to personalize that information in a report. So that's great if you're curious, but you're not maybe ready for like a live session or two, or you just want like an entry-level position. So that takes 7 days to turn around, but you can order yours now. So these are the 3 options. And obviously, if you just want to start with doing your birth chart, it's absolutely on offer. So all those offers are on my website at cecileferry.com, and you will have the link for each of them in the show notes of the episode today. So now that we have spoken about how we can go more into detail for yourself this year, let's talk about the bigger picture, and let me start with some general comment. So 2025 was a really tough year because it was a year of transition, astrologically speaking. Just to recap, so we had several long-term planets that changed sign in 2025, but they kind of went into their new sign and then they went retrograde back into their old sign. So there was this kind of back and forth movement. And basically 2025 was a year of that transition, and very grinding transition. Like we got to feel better at times and started seeing ahead, but then we went backwards. And it's really a year of ending. In numerology is year 9. So I think I don't need to repeat that. I'm sure you have felt it. Like we've seen it collectively in the world. It was a year where we really ended a lot of things, and maybe we made some space and we made some decisions, but we're not quite yet into the new world. And if you have felt and continue to feel like you are in between the old and the new, you are exactly at the right place, right? That is what's happening. So the great news is 2026 is a year with forward movement and a year of new beginnings, like for good, for real. Things are going to shift and they're going to stay that way. And there's going to be forward momentum from there. And in particular, this really all starts from late February, which coincides with the start of the Chinese New Year. And there's an eclipse as well on the 17th of Feb. So I won't say like it's easy in January and Feb, but things really pick up from Feb and March and even a bit of April. July is a big month as well. But it's the year of the fire horse. What I really love is really everything aligns this year, like the Chinese astrology, the numerology, and the evolutionary astrology that I talk about. You know, we're all saying the same thing. So there is a really different shift in energy, and we will have a lot of fire and air energy. Was before we had a lot of water energy. Okay, so fire means there's going to be a lot of action and creativity and passion, which is great. And air is about innovation, intellect, information, and communication. So think the brain. So it's going to be a year of the energy and the brain. Very yang. So basically, I hope that you're ready. Like if you're exhausted, I would really recommend you take some time in January to recharge, to rest up and to restore, because you don't want to be asleep when this energy hits, and actually you want to be prepared and you're going to be jumping on it. Like literally catch that fire horse, get on it and move forward, because that's what's happening this year. And so I'm not saying that everything will happen in your life and will really be settled straight away. No, this will take the year and 2027 to be fully really coming into realization. But things are going to start to happen and are going to be really concrete, and things are going to accelerate. So I don't know you, but I'm very excited because I feel like we've done a lot of the hard work. We have been stuck for quite some time in that transition period, and now we're going to start really moving forward, and that's very, very exciting. Okay, so in late January, we do have all planets meeting with Pluto one by one. So that starts from the 20th of Jan. I'll talk about it to the 27th. So it's all the planet in Capricorn right now. It's going to feel a little intense around those days because Pluto is the planet of power and transformation. So Venus will meet it, then Mercury, then the Sun, then Mars. So especially Mars, because Mars is also the planet of like fire, action, drive, passion. And it's meeting the planet of power and transformation. So double power really. So that's the 27th of January. Highly recommend you lock yourself up in your bedroom. You be very careful with the conversations that you're having. So lots of sparks happening, okay? And so February will be all about Aquarius energy, and really worth repeating here that Pluto is in Aquarius. I know we're going to be focusing more on other planets that are changing sign, but Pluto moved into Aquarius at the end of 2024, and it's still there, moves very slowly. And so that's going to be a transit that lasts for like 40 plus years. So just as a reminder, Pluto in Aquarius is about deep transformation, especially in our society. So in terms of technology, the collective and social order, with really a shift to the power to the people. I think we are massively seeing that. So there will be more of that. Pluto for 40 years is working on transforming at a very deep level those aspects of society and aspects of our life. And in February, all the planets will transit the Aquarius sign, so we can expect an energy of lots of ideas, intellect, freedom, independence, and also humanitarianism. So Aquarius energy is about the collective. It's about, the greater good of all. But with Pluto, it's going to happen through a pretty deep, not nice, pleasant transformation. One of the really key transits to keep in mind for this year, that's the first one I really want to pin down for you, is the move of Neptune and Saturn into Aries for good. So they have been in Pisces for a long time, especially Neptune. Neptune moves a lot slower. And Saturn has been in Pisces for 2.5 years. And they are both going to go over into Aries, which is the first sign of the zodiac. So Pisces is the last one, and it's all about dissolution and release and surrender and having like ultimate visions. And both planets are moving at a different time into Aries. So the first one is Neptune on the 26th of Jan. Especially if you have Pisces energy in your chart, you will feel it. So it will enter Aries on the 26th of January. That means action in a spiritual, conscious sense. So this is about making concrete all the visions, including through your dreams, that you've been having last year and still to this day. So this is about really becoming that spiritual self, that sense of identity that you've had, the visions that you've had, and starting, bringing them into action and using courage and compassion. So really beautiful energy. And then about 2-ish weeks later, mid-Feb on the 14th, Saturn enters Aries as well. And that is about the energy of structure behind it. And the first date that really you're going to hear a lot about is the 20th of Feb, big day, as in around that time, like not literally on the day. But it's a huge day astrologically. It's an event that hasn't happened in 6,000 years. And we get to live it. How cool is that? So Saturn and Neptune will meet. And not only they'll meet, because that happened about every 36 years, but they're going to meet at 0 degrees of Aries, which is the absolute beginning of the zodiac. And I think I've mentioned that before, but that really means the start of a brand new cycle, a new era for the world, really. Like, I'm not talking this up. That is what this represents. So a big change, and that's why we're all excited about 2026. Like, this is not a light thing. This is full of symbolism and energy, And it means for yourself in the area of your life that this conjunction is happening. So if you have your birth chart, look where 0 degree Aries falls, which house that is. That is where you will experience a theme of reality versus fiction, a theme of empowerment and self-belief, and basically where the dream from Neptune, the vision, will meet the Saturn energy, which is structure. So together, they will create tangible change and probably like the birth of a new version of you, a new spiritual identity, a new sense of self. So it's like you get a brand new start of who you want to become. And you'll be turning some of the ideas, the visions that you've had into proper initiatives, because Saturn will cement that, will make it happen. It's kind of the energy of work and diligence and resilience and careful planning. Okay? So great event for all of us. So if you do a transit chart reading with me, I will tell you where it falls in your chart and what that means exactly. So for instance, for me, it's in my 4th house. So this conjunction means there is a new start, a new beginning, things turning really concrete. I'm starting something brand new and strong and tangible in the area of my home, family, and emotional stability. So my core foundation. And that doesn't mean it's going to happen in February and that's it. Like this will unfold over the next few years. But the energy, the ignition point is then. So really exciting to see what happens. And then Mars will be meeting Neptune and joining the gang in April in Aries. So from the end of March, we enter Aries season. There will be a lot of Aries energy. So very young, very forward, very much action oriented. So I would recommend these are the month, like from late Feb to March, where it's go time, where you take action, where, like don't be asleep behind the wheel. Don't be stuck with your fears. Don't let confusion and doubt cloud you, because this energy is so supportive and so strong that, it will carry you through. It's an energy that will say, yes, and I can do it, and I want to do it, and I'm doing it. Also a great time if you've been thinking about having some coaching, get it done like from sort of Feb onwards so that you can surge forward like that fire horse energy. Later in the year, from July onwards, Neptune and Saturn will be retrograde, but they will stay in Aries. So that energy is here to stay. But it just means it will be less about forward movement. It's going to be more about reflecting and introspection and learning the lessons of everything that you would have done across Feb all the way to July. Okay, so very young energy and something really concrete, a brand new beginning in one area of your life. So that's the number 1 piece I want you to remember for this year. The number 2 piece, another big element, is Uranus is changing sign as well, like it did a little bit last year, but for good. And it's moving from Taurus to Gemini. That's happening on April the 26th. And it will be there for, again, quite a few years. It moves very slowly. So Gemini is a air sign, very mental, focusing on communication. And basically, I want you to think brain. It's like we're getting a double brain because that will accelerate the pace of our daily lives. Like including maybe some of the stuff we don't like, which is, the stress and the hustle and bustle and the information overload, the noise, all of that. I think that's going to go up like a level, like think square. And our thought processes as well. So I think we will really be, I won't say smarter, but I feel like that, we are going to be thinking faster in more innovative ways. And so this will bring themes of disruptions because Uranus is the planet of change and shock waves. I love Uranus myself, and there's a lot of Uranus energy in 2026. So things are going to happen, my friend. And in the field of communications, technology, media, education. So obviously AI, we've already started that happening last year on the back when Uranus went into Gemini. That's going to continue and that's going to explode and probably come to a point where things are going to have to stabilize and regulate. We'll also see lots of progress in science, in robotics, in biochemistry, in transport, aviation, space, and speed of information. So even like maybe new internet, new platform, new social media, big media shifts. And as I said, like mentally, maybe some restlessness, right? So it depends. If you're someone that thrives on a lot of mental stimulation, you're going to love that. If you're someone that just likes to be really chill and relax and is more about, being grounded, that transit might feel quite rude for you and a bit uncomfortable. But I think we all get used to it, but we'll have to really watch how much information we consume and how we switch off mentally. And Mars will be meeting Uranus on the 4th of July, which is a big trigger for even to really kind of explode and push forward at the same time. So that can be both like liberating, but could also be destabilizing. But that means we'll be taking a radically different approach. Again, important to see where is Gemini in your chart because it's an area of your life that will get disrupted, but also like new cool things will happen and maybe some unexpected things, but that will be liberating you. That will bring forward new progress, new change. Okay. So that's the number 2 piece. Number 3 piece of the year, I've got a couple more to go through, is Jupiter is changing sign, and that happens every year-ish. So that's not like, wow, headline for this year, but it's going into a sign that's really cool. It's moving from Cancer, where it's very happy, and it's been there since May last year, and it's moving into Leo. So first, it's currently retrograde. It will go direct in March. So we're going to start really integrating all the lessons we're currently learning with the theme of emotional growth, nourishment, family, feeling safe. What does that mean for us? Care and emotional intelligence. Like we're currently unpacking a lot of that, even we might not realize, but it's ticking along. So from March, we're going to start seeing that being put into action. And on June 30th, Jupiter will enter Leo. Jupiter loves being in Leo because Leo is the bright energy of the sun. So think this will bring joy, this will bring confidence, this will bring optimism and creativity. There's a big focus on our heart energy. Don't know you, but this sounds great for the world and for us. And this is about authentic confidence. So if you're someone that's been a little bit doubting or is afraid to be in the spotlight, expressing yourself, you'll be supported. You will get a lot of growth in those areas. And then we get into July. July is a busy month astrologically. You will hear more about it. Let's call it the magic triangle. We have a very positive aspect between Uranus, Pluto, and Neptune, and they're going to be there. Those planets don't move fast. So pretty much the whole month we have that energy, which is a mix of vision, transformation, innovation. Who doesn't want that? So at the same time, it will demand things of us, so to speak, but it's very supportive. See, when I said at the beginning, this is about new beginnings. You don't want to be asleep behind the wheel. We do have quite exceptional astrology that we don't see every day, like those aspects in the sky. That's really going to, I think, produce a lot of beneficial outcomes for us. And then at the end of July, on the 27th, we have the nodal axis changing sign. So I'm talking about the lunar nodes, which are karmic points in the sky. We have the south node and the north node, the opposite, like on that axis, opposite sign. And you may have heard this before if you follow me, but they change sign every 18 months. And they are signs that impact the eclipses. So when the sun and moon meet near the nodes, that creates an eclipse. So we're going to have 4, a bit more on that in a minute during the year. But just as a recap, collectively, we have been on the Virgo Pisces nodal axis for the last year now, and we have another half year to go through that. And we've had eclipses along that. And it has been about releasing perfectionism, overthinking, controlling too much or working too much as well, and trusting a higher force, having faith, surrendering. That's Pisces. Now, we're going to change the flavor of our growth next year. And if you are a Leo person or an Aquarius person, or if you have other planets, your moon, your rising, your Mars, your Venus in Leo or Aquarius, you're going to feel this more. So again, especially I'm talking to you, if you're Leo, I highly recommend you book a transit reading for next year. I've done a couple already for people. Very likely that it will hit your planet and you should know what's happening, what's coming. Okay, so what does that mean? What are we all going to collectively learn after the lessons on the Virgo Pisces? With Leo South Node, we are going to learn to let go of some tendencies. South Node is about that. And the Leo tendency is needing validation, needing someone to praise us, to say well done when we've done something. And potentially also being a bit too self-centered and maybe believing that we might be better than other people. So these are traits of Leo that are in the shadow of the sign. And we are all doing that somewhere in our lives. So we will be seeing that through, namely, the eclipses. And Aquarius North Node means this is where we want to move towards. This is really the compass and what we're called to cultivate. And in Aquarius, it's about collaboration. It's about shared evolution, innovation, and awareness of the collective. So there's a lot of Aquarius energy. I mentioned it. Pluto is in Aquarius. And we've got obviously Aquarius season in Feb. And then in July, we're going to start working on those themes. So it's very much, Leo is about self-expression, but this is where are we focusing too much on the self and maybe not seeing the bigger picture? And where, do we feel like we need to get validation? But also, I'm very keen to see that Aquarius North Node energy, because I think for the world, it's beautiful energy. In terms of humanitarianism, about being aware of the diversity, the inclusion of the world, and what we collectively need to do, I think it will be a beautiful time for the planet, because I think it's really time that we repair what we've done in the past. So that's going to happen all the way to 2027. Okay. And then we move into August. We have still lots of aspects between Uranus, Pluto, and Neptune. So we continue the time of expansion, exploration, and transformation. And later in the year, we will have Mars conjunct Jupiter in Leo as well. That's in November. So I don't have much more to really say in the second half of the year. It's not like nothing would be happening, but all the big shifts and in the transits are happening in the first half. And then later in the year, the planet will start moving retrograde and will start integrating. So if you want to plan your year, I would say put all the emphasis in the first half on getting clear, planning, and taking massive action. And in the second half, you're going to start seeing the results and maybe adjusting reflecting what's working, what's not, really just start to build further on what you would have done prior. So don't confuse the two. It's not a late surge of energy in the year. It's really front-loaded, if I can say it that way. But July, August are pretty big months. And so let me talk to you about the eclipses. So I won't go into details. Like each year, we have 4 of them. So we have one on the 17th of Feb, and then March 3rd. That's kind of the one side of the year. And then we have 2 in August. So out of the 4, we have 2 in Aquarius Leo, the new nodal axis, and we have 2 in the old season, if you like, nodal season, Virgo Pisces. So we're going to complete the cycle. And so we have a full moon eclipse on March 3rd in Virgo. And on August 28th, we have a full moon eclipse in Pisces. That is square to Uranus. So that will be big, my friend, end of August. But also, we're going to kick that off the day of the Chinese New Year. We have, as I mentioned, a new moon eclipse in Aquarius. So that will be quite new energy because we were in Pisces Virgo. So that might be a bit of a bang in the sky. More on that later. And then in August the 12th, we have a new moon eclipse as well in Leo. So really important that you look at where Leo and Aquarius fall in your chart, because the eclipses are going to happen there. Like, which houses is that? So, for instance, if it was like house number 1 and house number 7, because it's opposite, that means there will be a real shift to your identity this year and to your one-on-one relationship. If it is like 10th house, 4th house, it means big changes in your career and work, but also at home in your family. Okay, so we can personalize that if we do a transit reading together. Now, 2 more much smaller pieces to mention for this year, but you'll hear me talk about it. We have the planet Chiron changing signs. So Chiron is less well known, but it's an important one, astrologically speaking, because it's the planet of the wounded healer. And I don't know you, but I really feel that energy throughout the year. And it is changing sign. It moves very slowly. It doesn't change sign often. And for the first time in about 8 years, it's been in Aries, it's moving into Taurus. So that's going to happen in June. And it will be there for a couple of months. And then I think it's 17th of September. It's retrograding back into Aries. So that one will behave like the other planets last year. We're going to get a flavor, a preview, and we're going to feel the change in energy. And then it's going to go back into Aries for some time, and it will move fully into Taurus in 2027. But collectively, it's a big change. So in Aries, it was about the wounds of self and self-identity. In Taurus, it's going to be the wounds about confidence, the way we value ourselves, so our self-worth. Like, this is really, I think it's a big theme, especially for women, and also our finances. And so we're going to really heal a lot of wounds there that may be happening, showing up different ways for us. But I'm particularly excited about that little transit as well this year. And final piece I wanted to mention is we will have a Venus retrograde. And I will confess, like, there are 2 things I don't particularly like as an astrologer. But that is me, right? It's having a Mars retrograde and Venus retrograde. Because Mars retrograde stalls everything and slows everything down to the point of nearly nothing happening. And I'm an Aries moon. I cannot stand that. I need movement. So thank God, no Mars retrograde this year. It will be the following. But we've got a little Venus retrograde. It's only 3 weeks. And look, I should really say that. I'm saying I don't like it, but it's for my own good and everyone's own good. It's actually nice and helpful. It's going to make us reassess things in our love life, in our finances, and the way we value ourselves. And it's happening from Scorpio but through to Libra, which is the sign of Venus. So I think we're going to have a bit of relationship therapy. That's going to be from 3rd of October to 14th of November. I would just say, don't plan to get married between those days because it's never a great energy. You don't want to get married under Venus retrograde. So try to stay out of those 3 weeks. And you may not meet someone amazing during that time, right? It's more a time to work on your love life and your finances. And it will square Pluto 3 times during those 3 weeks. So in other words, there's going to be deep transformation happening and making the unconscious conscious. So more on that later, but that's kind of one thing happening in the second half of the year. So that's it, my friend, for 2026. As I'm leaving you with that, think big picture. We're still in the same kind of energy as 2025 until around the 17th of Feb. But then it's go time and the fire horse is launching and we've got an eclipse. And then we've got Neptune and Saturn moving into Aries, and that conjunction at 0 degrees on the 20th of Feb. So big energy, and it's kind of launch time. So don't miss the boat and start thinking like it's happening. That's how I prepare myself. Coincidentally, I have a big change in my life next year. I have taken extended leave starting at the end of January. So I couldn't have timed this better, and it's not random. So I'm really excited because I'm making space and I'm going to launch myself probably into a new direction at that time. Okay, so more on that later. So that's that window. And then late April, Uranus moves into Gemini and our mental activity will accelerate, but so will progress and innovations and technology as well. So really interesting time to be living. And finally, the nodes changing from Virgo Pisces to Leo Aquarius and having eclipse there. And focusing more on the collective and healing some of our tendencies with, needing reassurance about ourselves. And Jupiter and Leo will be beautiful, bring us lots of authentic confidence and beautiful creativity and heart energy. So I'm not making this up. This is what's happening this year. It's very positive, very positive. It's not going to be like rainbows and butterflies all year either. And there is still a lot of things that are falling away. Let's remember, Pluto in Aquarius doesn't do things lightly. So we'll still see, I think, pretty challenging events in the world, especially on the political scene, on the social scene. And probably isn't going to be pretty. And we have to wait until all those planets are in their new sign as well for more stability. So I think that will carry on what's happening in the world for most of 2026 still. But we have this new current of energy that's very Aries focused, that brings us courage and that helps us build new things in our life. So I am very optimistic about that. And 2026 will be a much better year. We will all end the year in a different place from where we are today, guarantee you. And then 2027 will build further on that. So for me, it's like 2 years, but we're nearly there. We're entering the corridor of change and it's going to be really interesting ride. I cannot wait. So again, if you do want now to go to the next level and personalize this for yourself, check out the show notes or my website, cecileferry.com, and look at what option seems right for you. Maybe you just want to start with a report and learn how those themes are going to play out in terms of areas of your life, or you want the actual detailed picture and you want to be able to interact with me and ask me questions and pull things apart and talk to me about what's happening in your year. Are there key events or any key plans that you have? Because I can look them up and I can tell you what sort of energy is happening around that too. So if you are interested, don't wait. I'm going to have spots open from already this month. So you can go into my calendar and you can book yourself. You can book later in the year too, if that works. But I would recommend get clear on those things before the 17th of February. All right, my friend, I'm going to love you and leave you. I really wish you an amazing year of the fire horse, a year of new beginning. I can't wait to see what happens in your life. and to report back and to look at where we land a year from now. That would be a really cool episode to look back. But for now, we've got lots to look forward to. So I'm going to leave it here. I hope it wasn't too much. And again, I will break everything down every single week with you so you don't have to worry too much. Have a great rest of the week. Make sure you plan your year and take some actions. And I will talk to you in the Cosmic Catch-Up next week. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.